Hi, people, I'm back. And today we're just gonna rehash a lot of things. A lot of things um, are going on in the news right now. Gas prices are going up. Um, Donald Trump is still losing his mind, thinking that he's winning a war when actually he's actually losing a war. Uh, the loss to the president, not the presidency, the loss to the Senate race with Jasmine Crockett was is still a stinger to those who have worked hard and worked diligently to have this woman in the race to succeed at a high level. And apparently that went by the wayside due to a whole bunch of things that people have been mentioning. Number one, the Kim Paxton spoiled brat syndrome. Oh, we can't beat her, so we'll just have to mess up her her test, if you will. You know how when people think they are smarter than you when they're not, and they always want you to cheat for them, or they cheat off of your paper, and you end up getting in trouble for it. Well, obviously, both of us got in trouble. So, um, yeah, still a stinger. It's still a stinger, and it's not over. It's not over for those people who still believe that James Tellerico is going to win you a is going to win you the general. Then I personally myself say you were delusional, but then you get people that obviously say if you do not vote for Tallarico, then you're as dumb as a bag of rocks. Well, I say screw all that because you worked hard for the candidate to win it all for you. Nothing against James Tallarico, but James Tallarico does not seek my interest in anything that he says, anything that he states. He has no interest. He has no agenda for the black community. Nothing. It's just like voting for Bill Clinton all over again. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's just like voting for Bill Clinton all over again. And he just sat in a room full of people who obviously had said, asked him, of a room full of black people, if you can remember way back when he was president, and they asked him, paraphrasing, what is your agenda for us? What can you do for black people? He said, I don't know. We need people who share our pain, share our thoughts, share our generalities, some of them. We need somebody that does not shy away from white supremacy. We need that particular person, and Jasmine was one of them. After this, ain't gonna be no more candidates. After 2020, after this, there is not going to be any candidates for 2028 unless Kamala Harris makes up in her mind that she wants to run for presidency again. I don't know. It's a fair shot. Let's see what happens. Be back with you in a few minutes.
If you ain't talking money, then I don't wanna talk. Still gon' stunt. Diamonds look like they glowing. 50 stacks all singles, I make it look like it's snowing. Treat them like jack boys, catch them slipping and slam. Treat them like jack boys. Catch them slipping and slam. Then I'm still gon' stunt. Diamonds look like they glowing. 50 stacks all singles. I make it look like it's snowing. Treat them like jack boys. Catch them slipping and slam. Treat them like jack boys. Catch them slipping and slam.
All right, just had to go get a sip of water. Okay, now for those who are still saddened by the loss of Jasmine Crockett not getting her Senate seat, oh, hey, sweetheart, I'm sorry. I'm still trying to figure out. I'm still trying to figure out this stream here. This is not StreamYard. This is Restream. I'm still trying to figure this shit out. Let me see. Jasmine offended zero, offered zero tangibles. Did you look on her website? He didn't. But if she didn't offer any tangibles, neither did he. So you got two individual candidates that didn't offer anything. I thought she offered some. I looked on her website. It's absolutely on her website. And she could have, and even if so, she could have won. I feel that she could have won anyway if it wasn't for Ken Paxton. If it was not for Ken Paxton, she would have won by at least 1 or 2 points. But despite all that, I might switch to. Despite all that, she conceded. I call that, me personally, I call that a defeat because I don't concede to nobody. But that's her choice. That's her stigma. She wants to do that. She's free and happy to do whatever she wants. I'll be here in the chat voices and keep up the great work. Oh, Mahogany. Sidebar. I found an old video of us with our first interview. I was cleaning out some of my archives, and yes, I found my first ever interview, and that was with you, and it was wonderful. I save it. Should I save it or scrap it? Should I save it or scrap it? I mean, this was our first. It was our first interview. Just wanted to let you know. But beside the point, being back on track, I really wish and I really hope Black people, not everyone, because those I'm not talking about for those who already voted for her. I'm not talking about for those who had poured money into her. I'm talking about the specific ones who it's like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. We're going to stay home because she didn't offer us nothing. That's some bullshit. That's straight bullshit. But anyway, but this is our Achilles heel. Her Achilles heel is defending the LGBTQ community. Our Achilles heel is not supporting anyone that at least can fight off white supremacy. That's good enough for me. We can salvage all this other stuff later. Let me ask you a question. If you wanted tangibles, did you go to her? Did you go to our website? Did you call our office? Did you? I mean, she's stationed in Texas. Some of us are in Michigan, some of us are in Florida, some of us are in Virginia, some of us are in California, hoping this woman would win. But you're asking for something that you haven't even bothered to come to her with. If I have an issue, I go to her website and I pour out my concern and I pour out my issue. I pour out my concerns. And she has addressed at least 90% of those concerns, in my humble opinion. And I just believe it's unfair, yo. I believe it's just totally unfair. I save all of my old videos. Oh, so I just have to put it somewhere. But you look nice. You look extremely nice. So without further ado, let's just get into. Let me see. I'll choose this one. I like this lady. I like this lady speaking.
So I wanted to start with that clip from Gary Chambers. And is 6 minutes long.
Yes.
And so for the Urban View audience, we don't have the capacity full 6 minute long clip, but he goes on there to talk about the fact that
Shouts out to April Turner.
James Tallarico, who was the successful candidate coming out of the Democratic primary for the Senate in the state of Texas, had run up numbers among the white people, run up numbers among the Latino people, black people, who Representative Jasmine Crockett had. Her theory of the case was essentially that black voters have the numbers to determine who wins this election. As you can hear in the numbers there, and I waited on this for a minute because I know people are sensitive about being told what the heck were y'all doing? But it looks as though, to quote Gary Chambers, black voters, when given an opportunity to come out and vote in their best interest throughout the state of Texas, said, fuck it. We not.
Yeah.
And so had Jasmine Crockett's theory of the case been successfully able to enlist the black community and get black voters out, that we're not having a conversation about Jasmine Crockett having lost that primary. We're having a conversation about her senatorial campaign going into the general. And we're not having that conversation. So if Jasmine Crockett was not able to successfully motivate and engage the black electorate, and I know people have said she didn't run a good campaign, this and the other, that woman got over 1 million votes.
Yes.
You can't get over 1 million votes and run a bad campaign. It's
And with those 1 million votes, it means 1 million more came out to support James Tallarico as well. Remember, it mostly her I mean, I don't want to say her fate was sealed when it came to Austin, Texas, because Austin is full of white folks. That's quite obvious. Only 8% of black people live in Austin, Texas. It was, again, it wasn't Houston either. Houston, she won by a landslide. It was Dallas, Texas, that someone got sensitive and said, we can't beat her. Let's find a way to rig this stigma. And then there's, of course, not her raising enough money. She came in 3-4 months late. I get it. And I myself personally argued that, I mean, it's the same with Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris came in way late, but again, she's not, Jasmine Crockett is not Kamala Harris, which she had endorsed her late, by the way. James Tallarico was spending money. He was just spending money left and right. So this is a lesson learned for her. This is a lesson learned for, many years to come if she wants to, go for the presidency. I don't know. I don't know what she wants to do. I don't know what the future holds for Mrs. Crockett. But I wish her all the best of luck, and I will still ride for her. I will still campaign for her. Whatever she wants to do, I'm right there. So, hands down, 100%.
To me, that's not that is a surface level analysis. April Turner, you're the expert here. What do you say about these numbers? What do you say about these questions? And let's get into it.
Yeah. So much to unpack, and I've been having lots of battles with my political colleagues over the past few days, deep, heated battles. And everyone wants to play Monday morning quarterback, and that's fine. So a few things can be true. Totally agree
Right.
with the clip that was played, but I also think, I mean, it's political science for a reason. She had a strategy. There are people that question whether that strategy worked. Her game plan was definitely to grow the electorate. But I think to look at Jasmine Crockett on Tuesday, you have to look at some other things before Tuesday. You have to look at Val Demings in 2022 in Florida, who lost her Senate race in a statewide race in Florida. You have to look at Sherry Beasley in North Carolina in 2022, Senate race in North Carolina. You have to look at Stacey Abrams running in Georgia twice and narrowly losing. So I think we need to have a conversation about what it takes for a Black woman candidate, or especially even a Black candidate, to win statewide in the South, because this is a wall that we continue to hit. And I think the analysis helps us do some of that. But especially in these states, we understood that Texas was going to be hard. It's going to be hard for her to win in Texas. We understand the dynamics of Texas, but I think was right. She came within 3% of a runoff. And when you think about that, her pollster says something to us the other day that it's not that Democrats don't vote in states like Texas. They're usually suppressed voters. They look at doesn't matter like shit out. So you do wonder what was it, what bit of that part of it. But the fact that she could do it, we all can see the numbers are clear. She didn't luck up on 1 million votes. Definitely had a strategy. I believe in political science when a strategy sometimes is maybe not going your way. You have to pivot and turn. Maybe it wasn't fast enough. But I think it's worth a real conversation of the Southern state strategy and how can a Black candidate win statewide in a Southern state.
Yeah, and the other thing is she, like Vice President Kamala Harris, entered the race, somewhat towards the end. Tallarico had already had 3 months on the ground.
Can we be honest here? Can we just be a little honest here? I was going to be a little bit honest with you. What they're saying is 100% right. What they're not, I get that glare out of my face. What they're not saying is what's real. A lot of you men, there were a whole bunch of women, but not enough men who supported this woman. And why? We can all get into the reasons why. She doesn't pique my interest because she doesn't have anything for me. How do you know? She didn't speak to us directly. Why does she have to speak? Why does she just have to speak to you directly? Asians don't have a problem going to people when they have trouble. This is the sick shit that comes from Black people. I really, as I go further and further into the realm of politics, and I look back and I see the reason why we struggle. Thus, we don't have to be forced to vote whether we vote Democrat or Republican. We can stay independent. But for the reasons why a Black woman can't be in power is downright damning to me. It shouldn't be. Your excuses are lame. In my opinion, your excuses are completely lame. If you have some concern, you need to come to her in earnest. Gather up in packs. Come to her desk and raise up signs and says, tangibles now. Will she listen? Most likely she will. Because does she believe? I don't know. I don't know specifically. We-On-Loc does not know specifically if she's grassroots or not. I don't know if she is. But I do know she has spoken to the youth. I do know she has spoken to the youth numerous of times, and I'm the one that said that she needs to speak to them because the youth themselves are going to determine further on whether what candidate to vote for, who to vote for, or to vote at all. It doesn't depend on a 40-year-old. They're not dependent on a 70-year-old. No disrespect. But the real reason why she lost, part of the reason, is because black men are ignorant in the sense of not voting for a black woman to be in a Senate seat. A Senate seat. A Senate seat. We're not talking about the presidency. We're talking about a goddamn Senate seat. We'll learn. We are going to learn.
By that point, and had already amassed what he had amassed. So again, I've been troubled by this conversation that she did not run a powerful campaign, or that there was something lackluster about it. Obviously, it wasn't enough to win the day, but she, prior to Tallarico, highest number of votes of anyone running as a Democrat. Tallarico ended up beating that number. That's why he is the nominee. Yeah. But the reality is, you don't just, black girl magic and snap your fingers and flip your wig to get into over 1 million votes in Texas. So I think that there is also one of the things I've been concerned about is it feels as though that some of that Monday morning quarterbacking is really designed to distract from her legacy and what she has contributed to, because of her campaign, she was able to collectively with Tallarico, they got over 2 million Democrats to come out and vote in Texas. That is, from what I understand, significant. It is significant. But I want to now talk about what it's going to take to crack this wall, because when I hear Southern strategy, I'm thinking of white operatives, political operatives, who are using dog whistles and bullhorns to basically tap into latent and explicit beliefs, racist beliefs within the white electorate to get them to turn out. And if that's the case, I get it, I understand it. But when it comes to the numbers that Gary Chambers put out there was, and I kept saying, my God, when he would get to the part, there were this many black voters and a fraction of them came out. Looking at Al Green's race, and I know we're talking primarily about black women with higher heights, but even with Al Green's race, they're in a runoff now, as I understand it. They had almost, over 700,000 voters in that district, and less than 100,000 came out to vote. Yeah. Even with everything that we have been talking about nationally, not just with regards to Texas, but just across the nation for the entirety of this electoral season. I'm wondering, April, what this means about our ability to get black voters to come out. I know it's a long game. We saw Stacey Abrams had to put a lot of effort and years of work and organizing. What are we to make of this seemingly this is a hard nut to crack when it comes to getting black voters out?
It is extremely hard, and I do think it's worth having a focus on. I had to turn off my social media on Wednesday again and again. A lot of the things that we're seeing are not coming from other people, they come from our own people. Ignorant comments about even her being able to do it, being electable, the things that contributed to the loss. And that attitude is definitely going to hold us back from ever getting it. We saw this same thing with Kamala Harris. There are some people in our community that really believe that, Tallarico, a white man, would be best positioned to ward off against the Republicans in November.
And again, I was one of those ones that did not vote for Kamala Harris simply because to me, she was not worthy enough of my vote simply because she didn't produce anything. But now that she is going around, not saying that she didn't tell the truth. To be perfectly honest with you, I've heard that those little birdies from her way late, but it's not like down the road it's like all of a sudden, oh hey, she's for the black vote. People remember when Bill Clinton well, not Bill Clinton, but Hillary Clinton came out with that hot sauce. Black folks are not stupid. But then again, it's like, what do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? Because you ain't got nothing to gain. And Jasmine was one of those ones who spoke to our concerns. She knew outright what we were thinking and she addressed it, but still it wasn't enough. So now I'm like, okay, let's see where this goes. All right. Next president, 2028, if because we all know that James Tallarico is not going to win. In 2028, oh, and by the way, most of your shit's going to drop and hit the fan. In 2028, there are going to be no worthy candidates. I don't see Gavin Newsom winning. Can we agree? I don't see Gavin Newsom winning. I don't know any other worthy candidates out there. I don't know. If you do, put it in the chat. We'll research them. We'll see. The only worthy candidate I know of who has been through the flames, who has been attacked constantly, who has been, whether it be through public or through private, she's received a lot of death threats. As of recent, the people been calling out her name, including the president. Donald Trump has been calling her out. I say Jasmine Crockett is worthy of that presidency. I say so. Do you? I think so too. And if you don't think she is not worthy of the presidency, you're insane. We need to get over this emotional distraction of she's a black woman and she don't need to be in office. She just need to cook clean. We need to cut that shit off from the rope. From here on in, on this channel, whether you like it, whether you love it, whether you hate it, whether you want to smash it, you want to throw it in a river, you want to be like Jacques Cousteau trying to magically let that shit disappear. I don't care what your feelings are. On this channel, no black women slander will be allowed on this hit channel. It will certainly not. The time of slandering black people, because most black women will slander themselves. Those who deserve to be slandered, they can slander themselves. For those who are worthy of respect will not be slandered. Do you get my drift?
So I think it's a real conversation that our community needs to have, but where we find hope is obviously California can do it, Illinois can do it. I live in Maryland. Maryland can do it. It's done. So how do we make sure that we have a really good strategy, have some serious conversations in our southern states? You do have power. You have to fix it. We do understand that primaries typically have a lower voter turnout, but and then everything taken into consideration, we saw some voter suppression that happened in Dallas on Tuesday, and we see the playbook that's about to happen for the other races in November. And there were people that stood in line. They were committed and they stood in line. It's like, how do we get more of that? Because they're going to throw every trick they can at us. You're right. These narratives spin and these lies and misinformation spin. How do we stand strong and make sure that we go out and vote in primaries to get those candidates over the hump to be able to be successful in a general?
Yeah. And we know with groups like Black Voters Matter, we know that when there is investment, there is a shift in the relationship between the Black electorate and the potential Black electorate and elections. And so I feel as though there has to be so much more investment on the ground to be able to really motivate and educate our community members. And you know, I love a good Gary Chambers video, but I know not everybody's going to listen to those numbers. I mean, I think that brother is brilliant. He should be on everybody's campaign as a consultant. But it's a challenge that I think we really do need to get our arms around. And I've heard a number of people say we need more Black people to move to the South. And I'm like, I'm not opposed to that. I'm not going to personally be one of them. I'm not opposed to that. But if we can't organize the Black people that are there to act in their best interest, I don't know what encouraging a whole bunch of Black people from other communities is supposed to do in order to get the numbers out that we need. I do have a question, though, now about the next phase of this moment. We have seen a lot of vitriol between the Tallarico camp. As there's a lot of concern about his inability to target Black voters. And the latter part of that clip that we didn't get to play for Urban View, but you guys will get to hear the full thing on the podcast later on today. One of the things that he says at the end of that clip was that James Tallarico is going to have to be able to figure out how to do what Jasmine Crockett could not do, which was basically get those Black voters out, because based on the coalition he has assembled, he does not have the capacity or the strategy. That strategy is not going to be enough to win the day in Texas, not because of wishful thinking, but because of the numbers, the math, and the way that you can game these things.
You know what? At this point in time, it's not going to matter. Let me tell you why it's not going to matter. Because they're probably going to vote for him anyway. They're probably going to come out and vote for him anyway. Because believe it or not, we still, there are still Christian brothers and sisters out there. And maybe he has something that Jasmine don't. Remember, Jasmine's the one that doing all the yapping and supposedly, allegedly, whatever. She's cussing and carrying on, cussing the president out, which I don't mind that at all. Attack me, come at me, I'm gonna come at you right back. That's just the thick of it. But we're taught to, if they go low, we go high. Bullshit. We've been going high. We've been going high and staying high. Black suit and tie, white shirt for what? Decades? Knocking on the door, please let us in, please let us in, please let us in. We're hungry, please let us in, please let us in. Sick dogs and put water hoses on us. Still hanging us by trees, and we're supposed to be nice. God, if Malcolm was here. God, if Dr. Khalil Muhammad were here. He didn't fear no crackers. But obviously some of you do. And it's very sad and it's very sickening. Most of you have no guts, no glory whatsoever. You're just going to go with what works. It's very, very sickening. Let's see what Roland Martin had to say. And I'm not too much of a fan of him. Not too much of a fan of his.
Is in Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett getting 46% of the vote, and so some ballots still have to be counted. And I've been watching all the different commentary. I've been watching people say, "Oh my God, this was awful. This was about white and Latino voters locking out Black voters and all of that." You're wrong. Let me say it again. You're wrong. Listen, folks, I'm born and raised in Texas. I was watching this race from the beginning. I was looking at every single facet of this particular race. And here's the reality. If you look at the numbers and you're trying to win, understand overall the state of Texas. 60% of Texas is minority. That's Latino, That's African American, that's Asian American, that's Native American. Yet in elections, 60% of the voters are white. Texas has the most eligible black voters of any state in the country. Yet when Colin Allred ran against Ted Cruz, 1.2 million black folks did not vote. Let me say it again. 1.2 million did not vote. And so if you want to understand what was going on, you have to understand what were the strategies of both candidates. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett made it perfectly clear she was going to be unconventional. She was going to be putting money on television. She talked about a ground game. She really was locking up, trying to focus on the largest counties in Texas. Now, the 5 largest counties in Texas, they are Dallas, you got Harris County, where Houston is. You got Dallas County, Dallas is. Bexar County, San Antonio. Travis County, Austin. And then you have Tarrant County, where Fort Worth is. 4 of those 5 are blue counties, okay? Doesn't matter in primaries, though. But Tarrant County is the only red county. Here's the problem. And what did I say? I had the chair of the Texas Democratic Party on this show on Monday. I discussed this last week as well when I was in Los Angeles for the Image Awards. What did I tell y'all then? That in order to win the Democratic primary, you have to do the exact same strategy as Republicans in the general election. That if you only look at the most populous counties and you do not do well in the other parts of the state, you're not going to win. Go to my iPad, Elise. This from the Texas Tribune. This is their breakdown of the map. Look at the map, y'all. You see blue? The blue here, that's all Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. The yellow you see right here are the counties that they have still yet to collect the votes from. The green, that's Tallarico. What did I say? Now, what I also said was the issue was the margins. When Republicans beat Democrats, they win all of these states that are in Central, South, West, and the Panhandle because they rack up margins. All those votes add up. And so, if you look, so let's take what happens, okay? Most of the votes in Texas, right here in the blue, where African Americans are. This right here, I'm going to show you. This is a map of the New York Times. Give me a second. I'm going to pull this up. This is from the New York Times. The New York Times map right here. It shows counties with more Hispanic voters. That's in the teal. The count, then of course where you see the sort of the purple east. So that's the areas with black voters. Then Crockett, y'all, the numbers are numbers. So you see this portion right here. These are where all the black voters are in the state. You ain't got black folks who are west. So you also got to win that low. So what did Tallarico did? He won these areas here, Latino votes. Down here in South Texas, right down here in South Texas, he won those places. The key is, what were the margins in those places? All right. Now, again, it comes down to math. It's not a question of, well, it's math, but also what kind of campaign that you run. So let me go back to this map right here. Okay. So let me pull this up. So I'm looking right here, Dallas County. You see this right here? Dallas County, the home county of Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. She got 163,379 votes. That's 58.9%. Tallarico got 110,577, 39.9%. Y'all, she has no shot at winning if she does not hit 70% in her home county. Now, some of you are saying, well, they had the voter suppression and the Republicans because you couldn't vote countywide in your precinct. You're right. But guess what? It's the job of the Democratic Party and the candidates to tell folks how they must vote. I spoke at the MLK.
Let's pause from this. He was in the shower getting ready to leave the house for a little while. Hopefully you have a minute. If not, that's fine. I'll put the link in the description. But to this, now I'm starting to see why Texas is so important. Now, is it the same for everywhere? Absolutely. Is it the same for everywhere? Absolutely. But it's in my impression that this was inevitable in the first place. But I would have to say, Jasmine Crockett did one hell of a job. She did an absolute awesome job. Problem was, no one told her. No one even helped her in her own base. Not her own base. I'm sorry. No one helped her. No big names that I know. Hakeem, Mr. Austin, who needs to be replaced. I don't care what nobody says. Hakeem Austin, I knew something was wrong with that trick bag in the first place. He just needs to be replaced. There are those who have helped her, but did anybody help her in this position? Is my question. Other than Kamala Harris, who supported her, was there anyone else that helped her get to where she needed to be in this position? I don't see it. This is what the Democratic Party does. And I bet you, and I might be wrong about this, I'm going to go off on a limb and said the Democratic Party was also responsible for Kamala Harris not getting that president seat. You heard it here first.
City of Dallas MLK program on January 17th at Friendship West Baptist Church. They had an MLK teach-in, and they were talking about the election. Do you know what they said? They said then, early voting, you got to vote countywide, but on election day, you got to vote in your precinct. So if I was the Crockett campaign, I should have been going hard telling people you got to vote early as opposed to waiting on election day. That was a huge mistake. And I got to be honest, y'all, on election day, it's a perfect example. There was a brother, he's an alpha, named Andre Turner. He was running for a justice of the peace position. Yesterday, I got 5 text messages. I'm still registered there in Dallas County. I got 5 text messages from his campaign about election day. I got 0 yesterday from the Crockett campaign. I want y'all to think about that. I got 0. And so the reality is, if I had to examine both campaigns, one of them had a campaign. Tellerico had 30,000 volunteers. 30,000 volunteers. How many volunteers were the Crockett campaign? Let's talk about Harris County, okay, where Houston is. All right, let's look at numbers right there. Huge numbers of black voters in Harris County. Look at the numbers. Jasmine Crockett did 52.2%, Tellerico 46.7%. Yo, if that margin has to be at least 60% for her to make up losing in the other areas. Now, if I all of a sudden decide to go down south, look at these numbers right here, okay? This county right here, Tellerico, 54-41. This county right here, 59-33. This county right here, 52. Let's go all the way out west. Right here, look at this, Tellerico, 68-30. Let's go right here, Tellerico, 56-41. Let's go right here, Tellerico, 62-33. I can go here, okay, closer one, 51-44. The point I'm making is when you lose all of these counties in the rest of the state, you're not going to win the election because all of those votes matter. She's down 154,000 votes in the state. She's down 154,000. You cannot lose with that particular margin. So now what folks should be asking is, what were the difference between the two campaigns? What was the infrastructure? What were they doing? What was the GOTV efforts? Did you see signs and posters? What did you see? What was the investment? What was going on? Chuck Rocha, Democratic consultant who was with the Tallarico campaign, dropped this video. Listen to what he said, what their strategy was.
Good morning, everybody. What a crazy election night. You know, I've been in war rooms for 30 years on election night.
Before we get into that, I probably already can guess she wasn't raising enough money. She wasn't raising enough money. She didn't have enough. She didn't have enough volunteers. You have to go. Sometimes you have to go door to door with these things. That's called grassroots. Go door to door. Start raising money. Which I don't know how much money she raised. I was one of the ones that put in a little something for you. If you go to Jasmine, I think it's jasmineforus.com or .org. I'll put in a little bit. I'm sure people had supported her through financing, but campaigning, it just wasn't enough. You only did one ad. He did several ads. That's not going to get you anywhere. Like I said, the money and the resources are important. She came in too little, too late, and thought she was going to win something, which I absolutely was advocating her to do. But as these things go along, as you learn and accept the things that there are, Jasmine was not going to win. But here's the other thing, and this is the reason why I say votes don't count. Votes don't matter. You have 85,000 other black people who did in Jefferson County, because that's the only one I can name, who did not get up. Some of 14,000 were the only ones that got up and voted for her. That's not even half. And you got those in that particular state in Dallas, Texas, that haven't voted for her either. Most of them were black men. Black men don't give a shit about Jasmine Crockett. Black men don't give a shit about women being empowered, period. The overall campaign message, yes. Black men don't give a shit. They would rather have some old wrinkly white man, in hopes that they give them something, some type of tangibles or something. They're not going to give you anything. Have we not learned this lesson from Donald Trump? Twice, not once, but twice. But yet he goes up there and he presents the same little bullshit ass platinum plan for black people. Oh, the same platinum plan that was orchestrated and designed by Ice Cube. He took that platinum plan, wiped it off with his ass cheeks, and gave it to you and presented to you as if, and he said, "What do you have to lose?" These were his words. What do you have to lose? You're in poverty. You have no jobs. You don't have no money. What do you have to lose? Follow me. And then he got impeached. Years later, he's back and he's going to war. He's going to war with Venezuela. He's going to war with Nigeria. He's in Greenland, and you have 9 other countries defending Greenland. 9 other fucking countries defending Greenland, all because of this nut job. And then there are wars and rumors of wars of people from each group forming a coup to capture Donald J. Trump, your president. Your president indeed. Which I understand. You're thinking he's a rich man. He can afford tangibles. Or excuse me, he can afford reparations. He can give us tangibles. He wasn't giving you shit. There were warnings. There were warning signs that he wasn't going to give you anything. Warning signs. You know how they say history often repeats itself over and over and over again? We're like we're like in the book of Exodus. You know, we're like in the book of Exodus. We're just going to keep wandering and wandering and wandering until somebody has the courage to say, enough is enough. We've been wandering in the wilderness for far too long. But people worship idols. People worship idols. You, black people, you worship tribes. You have your own tribe. You have your ADOS over here, and you have your FBAs over here. Pan-African has nothing to do. Pan-Africanism has been around, is this oldest regime, has been around before we were born. And you're the ones who have issues with certain philosophies. There is no philosophy other than unifying. Grassroots. You're just nitpicking and picking off the things and saying, this was ours. We built this. Y'all built nothing. Zero. Zilch. This generation did not build anything. Your ancestors were the ones that will only give you credit, but you as a whole do not get anything, don't deserve anything. Why? Because number one, you are petty, and you are petty amongst each other. They look at you and they focus on you and they laugh at you. And while they're laughing at you, while you're doing all this infighting, all this other bullshit, they're the ones running off with all the minerals, all the gold, all the diamonds, all the land. And you're sitting here infighting, thinking that they're going to give you something, when quite frankly, they ain't going to give you nothing. Donald Trump sat there and looked in your face and said, we're not going to give you nothing. Unless you're Silk. I don't know if it's Silk or Smooth, whichever the one. I don't know who passed away. It was either Silk or Smooth or whatever, whoever. Unless you one of them, you aren't going to receive anything. If you're Wesley Hunt, you might receive a pat on the head. But Wesley Hunt did his job. And look where it got him. You're sitting here fighting for something that's not there. That's not going to be there unless those seats turn blue. And even if they turn blue, do you think Democrats are going to give you anything? Absolutely fucking not. Absolutely fucking not. But guess what? There's this thing called independency. It works for people who are sane. It works for people who want to get things done naturally, grassroots style. And then you get that one that said, "Oh, I like how this is working out for y'all. I like how this is working out for y'all." And then they give you a little money in between then and say, "Let me be your representative." Cool. You can be our representative, but this is what we demand of you. If you are going to be our representative, this is what we, The builders of America demand of you. Who you declare yourselves to be? Now that's a fight. There's too much separation. There's too much separation amongst the race. Indians don't have to tell you that the Chatois and I don't know what they got. Mexicans, you got Mexican Americans, you got Hispanics, you have the Cholos, you got all this other stuff, but they band together to form one coup. Asians, they come here to America for the American dream. Black people, we are down at the bottom, as Dr. Claude Anderson predicted. As Dr. Claude Anderson predicted, you are locked and boxed. Your money is frozen and you can never get it back. Your positions are waned. Everything that is in the white communities, everything that a young white man, a young teenager can get in his business, in his community, in his projects. And we're still stuck on waiting for the next Martin Luther King to arrive. Sounds unrealistic to me, but you got it. You got it. When they expose you, and you will be exposed, let's skip and a skip hop to this.
It was this high. Oil prices soaring. West Texas crude now hovering around $100 a barrel. You can see this chart over time. The last time it was this high was when Russia invaded Ukraine, and that height was at June of 2020. But I want you to look at the very end of this chart, an almost vertical increase over the last 2 weeks, an incredibly quick rise over a very short period of time. It could get even higher, experts say, by the end of March, maybe even $150 a barrel if travel through the Strait of Hormuz does not start flowing again. That flow of oil through that critical waterway has effectively ground to a halt. It's only a 20-mile stretch of sea between Iran and Oman, and actually only a 2-mile wide sea lane. The president shrugged off the rise in oil prices, calling it a very small price to pay for USA and world safety and peace.
Every time I listen to him or he tweets something, it gets worse.
CNN's Matt Egan is with us now. In these prices we've seen overnight, the sharp increase, more than 10% in one day, Matt. That's
Yep, so I was right. Don't even go into further detail. I was basically right. It's no looking further at it. And people, it's about the gas prices, look at the gas prices. I said, fuck the gas prices. What about the food? We're literally going to suffer because of this idiotic person. A person that does not know anything about politics. Nothing, nada, zero, zilch. He just listens to the people that give him advice. He does not know shit. He knows everything about business. And look how that turns out. My God. In reality, black folks need to make a decision. Do we need it? I think we need a civil war. I think we need a civil war with black people. It's like either you go your way, we'll go ours. Since you believe in this false philosophy, and it's a false philosophy to you because have you may have ties to your lineages, but as an African American right now living here in America, they look at you and ask you what do you have to trade for? You don't even know who you are outright. There's too many tribes going on. And again, Pan Africanism has nothing to do with anything that the FBAs are doing. Nothing. Has nothing to do with what Adolph's is doing. Absolutely nothing. We are a peaceful, resolving, revolutionary base group with too many accomplishments. But there's a time to. And what's that song? What's that song by that stupid country singer? I don't want to say stupid country singer, but isn't it Roy Rogers? Know when to hold him and know when to fold him. Where's your base? Where's your guns? Where's your army? Where's your fleet? You don't even know how to make. Y'all don't know how to make bullets. Y'all don't even know how to make toothpicks out of simple wood. And you have the nerve to claim reparations. You have the nerve to claim everything. If you had the one simple, if you would have done the one simple thing and would have voted this woman into that Senate seat, ransack their office and say, this is your court. The ball's in your court. What you gonna do? And I'll bet you 10 times out of 10 she would have gotten to work. People don't realize she goes back and forth from Washington to Dallas. Washington to Dallas. Do you know how long of a flight that is? That is a 4-hour and 52-minute flight. I know that because I travel from Nevada to Michigan. 4 hours and 52-minute flight. This is, y'all learn. You can't get to the store to buy groceries. You need gas. I can ride my bike. Fuck that. I can ride my bike to the store. And all I got to do is put groceries here and put groceries here. It's not that hard. I've done it before. I've done it before. As a matter of fact, it's challenging. And I like the challenging because you get a good sweat out of it. What are we doing? What are we doing? I'm confused. What are we doing? What the hell are we doing? Oh, let me get to this nut.
Now, let me cook a little bit. Look, if you say something, I'm gonna cook you one way or another. I don't care. I don't care if you're talking. Be prepared for me to respond sometime. All right. During the 2024 election, let's talk about that. Matter of fact, let's talk about the conditions of the 2024 election or beforehand. Black Americans were being overwhelmed with immigrants being dumped into the cities where black people are at, and resources were being taken away from black people and given to people who just got there yesterday. Okay? The policies of the Biden administration was mass illegal immigration. And it was affecting black people.
Why would I support more of that to harm black people? Now, if I thought about just myself, it don't affect me personally. It just don't affect me personally. But when you care about other black people, like in Chicago, and you care about other black people like in New York, and you were seeing all these crimes that was being done by these military age males in these cities, and you're thinking about our elderly who's not getting resources, you're thinking about the black homeless who's not getting resources. Let me tell you what Trump did do. Trump immediately stopped that. So now black Americans aren't dealing with mass flooded immigration into the cities where black people are at. So if you're going to ask me, would I choose more of that to harm black people versus stopping that? I'm going to choose stopping that all day long. I have no problem saying I would choose to stop it. And did it?
This is what you are doing. You may choose to stop it, but at what cost? You are basically advocating for the person who's stopping it. So, in other words, you, as a voter, elect to vote the person who says he is going to stop mass immigration. But what would be the cost of doing so? Let's see. You're getting the people who were already here in this country in mass versus equaling the people who are trying to crawl their way here. So basically, it's a combination of people who were already here versus people who are scratching and clawing their way through here, which is illegal. People who have lived here for over 20 and 30 years had to show their receipts versus people who didn't have the receipts, and it was illegal coming here, who didn't even have a passport, didn't have a green card. If you were going to blame someone, blame the person that was in charge, and that was Joe Biden. Joe Biden basically opened up the doors and said, let the people in, because of his racist bigot ass. You didn't hold him accountable, and you're going to try to hold Donald Trump accountable as well. This is the reason why we need to go young. And this is the reason why we need somebody smart enough not to do the things that either Donald Trump or Joe Biden had did. But quite frankly, I don't trust any candidate. I don't trust neither candidate. And I never voted for neither candidate. But you did, because obviously there was something in the deal for you. It wasn't just immigration reform. It was tangibles. It wasn't just the immigrations coming back and forth throughout here. It was a variety of things that you had to let go. But you've been here in this country for how long? That's what I'm saying. Is it that you're going to capture the people who are already here? And this is the reason why they're losing their families. Even Asians who have fought in the wars side by side with Americans who have fought in the wars. Pam Bundy, not Pam Bundy, Christy Knoll took their shit, revoked it, and sent them back to his home country, leaving his family behind. Make America white again. Why can't y'all just say it out loud? Because most of these scumbags are sissies. They're sissies. They won't admit to it that we want to make America white again. That's all this is. And to this, I don't even know who this is sad. and you call yourself African diaspora. Shame on you.
Stop? Yes, it stopped. Now, some other craziness happened with Trump, of course, but that main thing right there, what was happening to my people in these cities, no, I'm not going to support. I wouldn't get on this microphone and support 4 more years of that. No.
What's happening to your people? What happened to your people? What did all the immigrants have to do with you? All those immigrants were coming after rich people. All those immigrants were coming after white folks. What the fuck are you talking about? All those people in Oklahoma, the ones that were trying to get all those apartments and all that other shit. What the hell is this dude talking about? Most of them were white. They didn't interfere with you people. They didn't have a fight with none of our people. Am I missing it? So you are willing to sacrifice your vote and vote Donald Trump into office to get rid of immigrants. You foolish boy.
Sorry, I don't have no problem saying it. My people are being harmed financially.
Ow!
Then they came in here hostile. Hostile immigrants came in here talking crazy to black people.
Ow!
You're lazy, like talking crazy while they're taking your tax dollars. Why would I support that?
Oh, okay. So it all goes full circle. Okay. So we're talking about I wish people would honestly say what immigrants are they talking about. Are you talking about are you talking about Hispanic immigrants? Are you talking about Asian immigrants? Are you talking about African immigrants? Are you talking about Haitian immigrants? Are you talking about Jamaican immigrants? Which one are you preferring to? So it all goes full fucking circle. Well, my friend, none of these Haitians and none of these Jamaicans and especially none of these Africans had anything to do with what the fuck you're talking about. You're lumping 1 or 2 Negroes into the fray. One bad apple spoiling the bunch. I'm getting real sick and tired of this nigga coming up in here. He should have his he should have this shit just wiped off. It doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me at all. But yet you call yourself African diaspora? But they have to come in here a certain way. They have to act a certain way. They keep calling us akatas and all this other shit. You call yourself niggas every single fucking day. Stop playing with me. Y'all call yourselves nigga every single fucking day. Whether it be the the GA or the hard ER, it doesn't make a difference. Y'all don't have the courage and the testicular fortitude to read into your history to realize what that word actually means. But you call yourself nigga every single day. Richard Pryor himself went to Africa and when he came back from Africa, he said, I will be a nigga no more. We should adopted that philosophy, but instead you call yourself nigga in your songs. Most rap people, 90% black, are they not? And what do they call themselves? Niggas. What do women call themselves? Bitches. But you have the nerve to pinpoint out people who come into this country and all they do is fucking work. That's all they do is work. DoorDash, fucking Pizza Hut. That's all they ever do. And then when they're done, guess what? They have businesses of their own. But you come around now acting the damn fool, talking about where you're from, what's your lineages, where you're from, what's your lineages, where you're from. Nigga, you don't own shit. You don't own shit, and you don't have your shit anywhere near, you don't have your signature anywhere near a piece of paper where it says, "We own you, motherfuckers." You don't have that. You know what you have? Oh, right this way. Oh, excuse me, you didn't come in on time. Up, come to my office. Why? Because you're fucking fired. That's y'all all day. Oh, it don't matter. I'll just smoke blip. Y'all got the nerve. Y'all really got the godforsaken nerve. Take that off of your, call yourself black diaspora for all I give a fuck. There's nothing African about you.
I have no problem telling you what I did and what I said. I ain't delete nothing. I'll tell you to your face, yeah, I will always support my people. And if it takes Trump to stop my people from being harmed by the illegal immigrants that Biden and Harris brought in here, yeah. I support that all day long. So you didn't really cook when you said that. Just letting you know.
Big mistake.
I don't bite my tongue on what I say. I can repeat everything I said more than once. I think before I speak. Okay? I'll let you know.
And thank you for that. And thank you, you foolish bastard. You know how many you are, as a matter of fact, you and whoever supported this bullshit, you are the main ones responsible for the deaths in this country and in other countries. Congratulations. As a matter of fact, you are an advocate for grape. You are an advocate and responsible for this bastard that's in office for raping women and children. That's you. Congratulations. We calling you out from here on in. We are calling Mr. Phil from here on in because he's advocating for a bitch ass nigga in office. He is advocating for a white man in office who is allegedly accused, and we have the evidence to prove that he has raped and basically battered and assaulted young white children. This is him right here, people. I'm on your ass. I am on you, Phil. I am on you, Phil. You can't run away from this, Phil. I am locking this shit up, and I'm going to expose you for the fuck bitch ass nigga that you are. Advocating for Donald Trump. Yeah, you gonna advocate him all you want now. Advocate for as long as you want. You over there. You are over there, Phil.
Let's continue.
Stand down. Stand down. They're not serious about change. Did you see what they just did to Jasmine Crockett? What is the point? I'm going back to my soft and pretty life where I didn't care about politics. You know why? Because it ain't our job. 92% did their job several times in a row. But I'm going to tell you one thing. The fact that mediocre white men will beat a black woman with more experience, more gall and more balls than he has ever had of testosterone in his body should tell you that it's time for us to go back to our soft lives like we have been doing for the past year. Let them get slaughtered in the street. This ain't our business. Because every single time we step in and we tell you what you need to do. We tell you how you need to come. We tell you how to resolve the issue. You say, a black woman's not qualified. So I'm gonna qualify my ass at home. Ain't no reason for me to fight, yo. Ain't no reason. I don't care. Oh, they're taking them apart in the streets. They're dragging us. They're arresting us and we're citizens. Don't care.
If you ever needed more proof of why.
Okay, so now this particular sister say, you know what? She's qualified, but she couldn't get elected. They wanted a white man. And let me tell you what a lot of this happening to a lot of these sisters too. A lot of the sisters are actually waking up a lot because of this stuff. Because the Democrat Party was very good at like hoodwinking. Let me say, so a lot of sisters. they make them believe, they give them these positions and in the Democrat Party and all this access to different things. And so, a lot of them thought that, wait, Democrats treat us right. They the good white people. They're not like them bad white people over there at the Republican Party. These are the good ones. And the whole time the black man be like, man, both of them are horrible, bro. Both of them are racist. Both of them. None of them are good. No, not one. Memberships here on YouTube. Thank you for that, because that's something you don't have to do, and we greatly appreciate about that. Let me hold on. Also, the Brazil trip, don't forget about that.
They just want us to jump in line, right? Under my comment, one of the girls said the language is divisive, right? And I asked her, what is Tallarico's agenda for the black community? And she basically stated that he doesn't really have an agenda for the black community, but there are things that are a part of his community that will benefit the black community. And then she went to say that he's a Christian and he can probably get...
What the fuck? What the fuck is Tallarico? What is it? What is it beneficial for what he has for the black community that will benefit from them? For him, for them. I would love to see that. Which is nothing. He has nothing. It's the same trick bag from Bill Clinton all the way on down to Obama and others. They have no agenda for you. I'm sorry. They just don't.
Some evangelicals. So black women overwhelmingly vote Democratic in every election, and the white evangelical overwhelmingly votes Republican in every election. So what you're saying is that he is willing to neglect the most loyal voting base of the Democratic Party, which is the black woman, for the potential of the white evangelical. And you think he doesn't have to earn our vote? No, he has to earn our vote.
But see, I know that people will say, well, you still need to go out and vote, James.
Let me pause and back up a little bit, because I want to look at points something out on the previous video, because she got it up there at least. Now, you're looking at the votes for Texas, 52%, 52.3, and 46%. And now, always you never depend on the whites, so that's something. But, the whole conversation has been Latinos and how they were 30% of the vote in the election, but 62% of them voted Tallarico and 36% of them voted Crockett. And then you see the black numbers. The Asian numbers was only 3%. They hardly vote. And 71% of them that did vote voted for Tallarico, and then 27% Jasmine Crockett. Now, as I said before, Jasmine Crockett has been very pro-immigration, very, 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 very pro-immigration, and Trump's policies is affecting Latinos in Texas. But yet, when it was time to, vote for somebody that actually supported them, they said, nope, go on with the white guy. So let me get to something else, because I see some people talking in the chat too about, well, her policies she didn't have nothing. Well, I checked his policies too. He didn't have anything for black folk. Now one of them did. That say they're gonna do something. And so when I hear them talk, because if they were truly a Christian, they wouldn't do not even a part of what they do to people in this country. He was just different. She was, let me get back to the ghetto part. She was ghetto. Her wigs, that's another thing I've been hearing about her wigs, the way she talks, and all of that. Once again, I have made videos addressing her being performative, and the reason why I had an issue with it is because that's not where she come from. She went to private school, 2-parent household, educated family. She's educated, and me personally, I have I get a bug of me about.
Barb, her being pro-immigrant didn't serve her, but yet they're the ones that came to her, is my point. We did not come to her in mass. Why does everybody just gloss over that? I really need to think. Why do black people just gloss over that? Like this didn't happen yesteryears with Obama. I'm not getting that. I'm not getting that at all. The Asians went to him, the Mexicans went to him first, the whites went to him first, the Hispanics went to him first. All we said was, he's black, let's vote for him. Did we not learn our lessons the last time this happened? Obviously we didn't. Obviously we didn't learn our lessons because it's wash, rinse, and repeat. Wash, rinse, and repeat. How are you not understanding my point? Let me break it down to you slowly but surely. If you want something, you got to go to the person that's building the product and ask for what you want. Otherwise, you're not going to get it. The lesson is simple. If you want something, ask for it. That's the lesson. Again, the Hispanics came to her and said that we are being treated unfairly by this president. And she was willing to do anything in her power to protect them with possibly maybe a law. The Asian community has their own laws, don't they? The Asian hate bill, remember? Because they simply went over and asked, can you please have some people stop coming after Asians? And they got the Asian hate bill. Now, did I not clear that up for you? Did I clear it up for you? I don't know how else to say it. I really don't know how else to say it. So you're saying that the immigrants should have voted for her, right? You're talking about Jasmine. Absolutely. Absolutely. But you forget, you got those ones that clearly have not learned their lesson. Clearly haven't learned. I mean, this is the reason why she had 35% of the Hispanic vote. That's clearly one of the reasons. But of course, most Hispanics would not even vote for a black woman at any rate, in any capacity, because they believe in certain philosophies, just like how white people believe in certain philosophies. They're dirty, they're loud, they're this and they're that. When Jasmine came up in that club talking all that shit, apparently that didn't sit well for them. You had to look in the comments to see what they were saying. This is reality, folks. I don't know what else to tell you. If you have a problem, she'd come to her en masse. You had no problems voting for Obama or Hillary Clinton or fucking Donald Trump en masse. You have no problems with that because you expect something from them. That's why a black independent party is necessary. But you didn't want to do that. You did not want to do that. Everyone was in the call. Lisa, obviously, there are certain parts of YouTube you just don't go to. There are certain parts of YouTube that you don't listen to, and there's certain people that I wouldn't want you to listen to, because that's all I got. Or Brandon Tantrum, Officer Tantrum is one of those people who was criticizing Jasmine. And we all know why he does that. He's married to a white woman, so it is what it is.
and I notice that with the women more than the men, when I see very educated sisters trying to act like they sexy red. I hate to see that. I can't stand that because you literally are being performative. But let me say in a small sliver, some of them are very book smart, but some of them are truly sexy red. I know it's a crazy thing to hear, but it's true. But you being performative, I don't like it. I think it's embarrassing. But if I had a choice with someone acting a fool and acting crazy,
Jesus.
Why Black America put more, and it's just a legitimate question. Y'all could ask me, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Why do you put more, I'm looking for the right word. Help me with the right word. You have more strict requirements on Jasmine Crockett than you do the President of the United States. Let's talk about the difference. The President of the United States is in the Epstein files. We've read them here. In the Epstein files, what we read, they was put out by the Department of Justice. He was on the island helping pay and facilitate pedo parties. You didn't find Jasmine Crockett's name in the Epstein files. This man cussed everybody out, talk crazy. This man has felonies. She don't. This man has paid off lawsuits because he was cheating on his wife with adult entertainers. You don't really hear that about her. Only thing people say about her is she's ghetto or she supports immigration. That's the two main things I've ever heard people say about her. So that's more important than what he does. I'm just going on comparative analysis. Now, if she had even one felony on her record, she'd have been done. She'd have been done quickly. I don't like when we do that. When we put more, we got to act. See, as kind of that 10 times better thing, even though we know the system makes us be 10 times better, but sometimes we enact that system just because.
Nigga, I'm done with you, nigga. I am so done with you. You flip flop more than a bitch does. I swear I am so fucking through with you. I'm fucking tired of that. One minute you don't like her ghetto-ness and you sugarcoat the shit, acting like you slick, but you are not. You want the proper Jasmine. We get it. We fucking get it. I'm on you like I'm on you like flies to shit, bro. I gotta separate myself from these people. I really do. This is some, going back to this whole immigration thing. So you would rather side with the person who was in the Epstein files. You would rather side with a person who used to gather up all these pageants to go into women's locker rooms to check to see if they were naked. You would rather advocate for someone who told a 10-year-old girl, when you turn 18, you are mine. You would say that to a 10-year-old? A 10-year-old. A 10-year-old. You advocate for the very thing that he is trying to destroy. America. Right now, as we speak, having all these countries, Norway, Denmark, Sweden, France, all these particular countries not France, all these particular countries that are NATO, even threatening New Mexico and threatening Canada to take over Greenland so you can expand your empire. You advocate for that, Phil. We're not going to let that go. We're not going to let that go. Immigrants are that important to you, huh? More than the cost of living, more than the cost of, oh, they're taking us. You didn't want those fucking jobs. Those particular jobs that most black people complain about because they weren't paying as much, immigrants came and swooped them shits right on in. How do I know? I live in the state of Nevada. And the state of Nevada ain't that far from fucking California. That's why I know. And the state of California and the state of Nevada aren't that far away from New Mexico and Washington State. And most of them are filled up of what? I didn't say you. I didn't say you. You're fine. You're clear. You are in the clear. I'm talking about the dumbass who is advocating for immigrants to get kicked out of the country because one or two people had the little signature on their arm. Ooh. I guess that's what police are for. FBI? Even if necessary, the National Guard. You don't need the Army. You don't need the Navy. You don't need the Air Force. And you damn sure don't need the Marines or Special Forces. You just need the National Guard if necessary. You're full of shit, Phil. You're full of shit. What about Herschel Walker? Wait a minute. Absolutely right. We gotta make sure we don't fall for the skin color trick and end up voting for Herschel Walker. Man, fuck Herschel Walker and his. That's why he got traded to the Dallas Cowboys. They traded Herschel Walker, got rid of him for Emmitt Smith, and Emmitt Smith ain't no worse when it comes. I've heard some interesting stuff about Emmitt Smith. He's an asshole. That's what I heard. He's an asshole. But Herschel Walker, he did that because of the relations of Jerry Jones and thinking he belonged to somebody when actually you don't. You're just a horse. You were his horse until he wasn't your horse anymore. And what does he do to horses? Trade them. And unfortunately for Emmitt Smith, he gave him not one, but three championships. What did Herschel Walker get? 0. Fuck out of here. Stupid ass shit. In my lifetime, I would like to see us do better. I would love to see us do some good, some better in my lifetime. Can we all just say fuck it and just come together as one and vote as an independent bloc? Can we do that? Hell, I'll help set it up. I'll set it up. I have no problem doing it. Let's just set the shit up. Otherwise, we're going to be in the same position that we were the other day. The same fucking position. Jesus Christ.
I put it out there. This is a fight for the soul of the Democrat. I'm just going to read off some of the headlines, okay? Michelle Goldberg.
in the New York Times said 2 comedians told the truth about Jasmine Crockett's campaign. Okay. And what she said is that her theory is dubious. The theory that she can turn out voters, mainly Black voters that don't vote. And it was actually Tallarico who is going to flip Republican voters. There's one lady who was particularly nasty, Jill. She was, ooh. I had to screenshot her stuff too. I'm going to get to it.
Hold on. I have a question. And I hope some Hispanics are in the building. I hope some Mexicans, some Hispanics, some Africans. I hope they're in the building. I need to ask everyone a question real quick. And I want people to be honest. People who are already here, you didn't have a problem with them then. The immigrants that were already here in this country, you didn't have a problem with them then. This is confusing. This is absolutely confusing. The people, the immigrants, the so-called immigrants who came into this country, whether they'll be from Africa, or really come from, if they're Asian, Indian, well, we can't say Indians because they were already here. Mexicans. I'm not talking about Mexican Americans. I'm talking about Mexicans, Hispanics, Cholo, whoever. You didn't have a problem with them then. Why now? I'm not talking about those regimes that came here and started taking shit. I'm talking about those ones. Maybe Hammer Time can explain it to me. I'm gonna send the link, and maybe Hammer Time can share her thoughts about what's going on, because I am freaking confused. You didn't have a problem with immigrants then. Why do you have a problem with immigrants now? Are we copycatting Trump now? What are we doing? Because everything that he says came to light. We're going to get rid of and he was right. He did just that. He didn't do anything else, but he kept his word. He simply kept his word. And I do apologize, Lisa. I realized you was talking, and what happened was a bug hit me, and I just dozed off. The bug hit me in the back of my neck, and I just dozed off to sleep. My bad. That was my fault. Yes, my dear.
Okay. Now, to all you stupid numbnuts out there who want to try to be like you're on top of the world, especially some of these Black conservatives who begging for massa. Now, for all you, listen, we're going to be here till, if y'all don't want immigrants here, you shouldn't go busting their houses, asking for IDs and all that, and killing them and shooting them point blank, okay? Because if it was all Black, you would have shot them up, had tiki torches, and burned them to death. So that's how I see it right there. And all these so-called Black conservatives, they are the caregiver for Master Trump's nuts, okay? That's all. They're trying to protect those nuts as much as they can, okay? That's all they're doing. And that's a fact. Okay? So all you stupid all you MAGA dipsticks, you got what you got. Okay? You made your bed, lie in it. Pam Bondi, you have become mad, you have become Trump's bitch. And Jay Vance, you have become his hoe. Okay? So they have become they are his every whip want to dominate him all they want to. They can dominate him and eat him up. Okay? I am sick and tired of some of these so-called black conservatives that they know they're high and mighty. All you doing is begging for massa, okay? Massa, I will do what you want. Massa, I will hug you. I will do your laundry. I will clean your toilets. I will do anything that you tell me to do, massa. Okay? Okay? You have become the Chicken George of Washington D.C. Okay, so I'm telling you, massive dipsticks and you black chicken Georges. So I gotta go, We-On-Loc Nation, and like I say before I go, in the famous words of Captain Murdoch of Lethal Weapon, I'm getting too old for this shit, and you black conservatives is begging for massa. Bye.
Say less. Say less. Say less. Say less. Where were we? Say less. Oh, damn.
She's a Texas political consultant. It's Evan Barker, writing for the Times. Who is Jasmine Crockett? The Democrat running in Texas. The party shouldn't want to win. The party has long believed it can flip Latino voters in Texas, but an anti-Trump firebrand won't do the job. So I bring these things up because it was constantly put forth that Tallarico was going to win white voters. He was going to win Latino voters. And even black people would take some white man to be the white man, said that Jasmine couldn't get the white and Latino vote. Okay. And this same bitch, after Jasmine lost, said Jasmine Crockett's loss could finally give the Democrats a fresh start. She said, I predicted the left-wing firebrand would win in Texas using the old identity politics. Identity politics. Remember that word? That word was floating. It's only identity politics when we're talking about the blacks. Now it's identity politics. She said, but James Tallarico proves the party is ready to write a new one. She said, the truth is demographics aren't destiny for all racial groups. That's what she said. And she's referring to how, well, demographics aren't destiny, that they aren't going to vote for the black woman because they're Latino or Asian. That's what she said. So, wielding her identity like a weapon, and for once this strategy backfired. How dare she be black? Another person. A Texas Senate race is testing Democrats' stomach for race and gender fights. Latino voters will probably decide the primary contest between Crockett and Tallarico. They were correct. Identity, this is Axios. Identity politics convulse Dems' Senate primary. And they laid out how blacks are being problematic and calling out racism. For KCWR, Texas Dems are stuck on identity politics. Identity, that word was just being thrown around.
That was Kamala Harris's entire campaign, identity politics.
Star Telegram, Texas newspaper, and their endorsement. They said that Tallarico was needed because he's going to bring in Republicans and converting independent. That was the other thing. Oh, he's going to get the independents. He's going to get the Republicans. I'm going somewhere with this. Oh, can James Tallarico, this is Mother Jones, March 2nd. Can James Tallarico convince Democrats he's the fighter they need? The Texas Senate primary is a battle for the party's soul. The party's soul is what they said. And this was a puff piece on Tallarico. Oh, and then Jasmine is just a ghetto loudmouth black girl. There's a large body of work with that. And then when she lost, James Tallarico victory is a rebuke to identity politics. So, okay. So you're right. Now, it's funny, though. Now, let me tell you, this is where I'm getting to. It's very, very, very funny that everybody laid down the gauntlet. Everybody drew the battle lines. And so now that Tallarico is the guy, congratulations. It took a colossal effort to win. Congratulations. And I said, we're passing the baton. I didn't say black people won't vote. I said that we're passing the baton. This primary was a theory of the race, and white Democrats all said that the theory of the race that Jasmine Crockett put forth was wrong and Tallarico's was right. And he won. So let's test that theory out. So I've made videos and I've said, hey, white and Latino voters make Texas blue again. And it's so funny how it's fine coming from their side to say white Latino voters, white Latino voters, white Latino. But what I also realize is, a big reason why they're feeling uncomfortable with the label white is because they don't want to say white. White has to be silent. So they say conservatives, they say independents, they say working class, they say union, they say firefighters.
College voters.
Oh, yeah. Suburban voters.
Yeah.
Soccer moms. They got every motherfucking euphemism. But what they were very, very clear on is that identity politics was dead if Tallarico wins. But now that you have a lot of black people that are saying, y'all got this, there's fucking panic. And I've made videos saying white voters for the win. And every time I say white voters, you got this, even though y'all haven't been voting Democrats in a majority or in large enough numbers since black people got rights. This is the guy to do it. This is your great white hope candidate. This is your unicorn candidate. This guy is so special that he's the guy to do it. And every time I bring up white voters or Latino voters, they want to change the subject back to black voters. Why are we talking about what black voters are going to do? I thought y'all didn't like that conversation. I thought that was identity politics when Jasmine talked about it. Or when as black people, we talked about Jasmine, that was identity politics. So it's very interesting that the undercurrent or the assumption that all of these motherfuckers made about we gonna kill identity politics, we gonna get the soul, was that black motherfuckers was just gonna fall in line. That we are the footstool of the coalition. And a lot of black people are saying, go to hell, bitch. Now, perhaps cooler heads will prevail eventually. But I think that people haven't figured out that something has been unlocked. There's an energy that's been unlocked, and it's going to take a lot of fucking work to direct that energy into a so-called coalition because they show their ass. And it's not that, everybody's just so team Jasmine. We're cultists for Jasmine and Jasmine or bust. It's the way that people feel like it's okay to make us their footstools. It's the way that they feel that they can have dog whistles and bullhorns and shit on us and say the blacks is gonna fall in line. So we need to work on the independents. We gotta work on the conservatives. But you black motherfuckers, you better not talk about sitting this out. You better not talk about somebody earning your vote. Go to hell, bitch. So now go forth and conquer. Good luck. Earn everybody's votes. Everybody's votes, which includes black votes. Go in life says, my gosh, Reese, you're crashing out. Move.
Only thing I have to say about this whole issue, I'm going to stop this right now. Only thing I have to say about this whole issue well, black people sought a long time ago not to not to vote because apparently let me see. Okay, cool. Apparently, they decided not to go for the black vote simply put because they get mistreated. And once you get mistreated, it's no going back from that. There were 3 women candidates. 3. 2 for the presidency won for the Senate seat, and you treated them all like shit. But I can safely say for Hillary Clinton, that was a trick bag. Meaning they flipped that shit around real quick. And this is the reason why Donald Trump was your president in 2016. They flipped it on you real quick. Money, power, resources. People are not stupid. People are not dumb. Money, power, resources. That's all you need. Kamala Harris. Money, power, resources. She was out of there before they. She was out of there before she could scream, "I am your." No, he came in there and said, "I am your president once again, and we're gonna get to work on that 2025 bill, the big beautiful bill," and he got to work on it. People say he cheated. Doesn't matter. You couldn't stop him. Nobody can stop him. The only way you can stop him is not to vote for the motherfucker. But you did. Now that everything is back to normal, we're going to see what's going to come down the pipeline 2-3 years from now. If no impeachment, if that lady does not come forth and testify in court that she was assaulted and abused by Donald Trump himself, and if he does not get indicted, I don't want to hear shit. Again, I want bodies. Bodies, 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 bodies. I haven't seen Snowfall yet, but I will. I heard that was a good show. I have nothing else to report. I guess I'll be seeing you in 2 weeks. I have nothing else to report, and I will be seeing you in 2 weeks unless there's some breaking news going on, because I need a break from this here. I truly need a break from this here. I need to heal up. I need to rest up. Thank you, Mahogany, for showing up. Love you forever. Lisa, as always, love you forever. Barb, even though you get on my last nerve, love you forever. Is it 2 weeks? 2 weeks. Remember the money pit? 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Yeah, I gotta relax. I'm still on your fucking head, Phil.